You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good game. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's RuPaul's Drag Race After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's RuPaul's Drag Race After Show.
Yes, Bing is for doing, and welcome. We are doing another after show for RuPaul's Drag Race Season 5. This is the episode that we have been waiting for. Snatch game. Yes, God, honey.
Snatch.
All right.
We waited for it, and then it slapped us in the face.
Oh, it slapped us in the face with the fishtail. Because, you know, get it? They're supposed to be fishy. Ha! Ba-da-ba.
Remind me about that. Fishy.
Fishy?
And hormones. Remember that.
And oh, you want me to remember that? So suddenly I'm taking notes for you?
You're the main host, so.
It'll come along.
Yes.
It'll come along. I'm just trying to tie it in. Okay, go ahead.
Get your life.
Ah!
You know it starts
You
already.
missed us.
All right, as you guys have noticed, we are back to our original group, and let's introduce ourselves. Starting to my left, we have
Jackie Borowski.
Cameron Marston.
Ooh, you said it so loudly.
I know.
Because
I
was
gave him a
inspired
coffee.
by Destiny's Child last week.
usually it's very soft and very.
Cameron Marston.
I love it. Well, welcome back, guys. I missed you.
Liar.
Liar.
Well, you know, I can never
Him
tell
and
a lie.
Jason.
Tony tried to
Oh my God,
replace
it's
us.
some symbiotic relationship.
I
it's
had
like Venom and Spider-Man.
I had auditions. It didn't quite work out, so I brought them back. So you're welcome. It's the least that I can do. You're welcome. All right, so
We're like hemorrhoids.
Oh, we lounge with Tony, all right.
Can't get rid of us, but there's nothing friendly
Well, wait,
about hemorrhoids. I don't know why
I thought
I'm
you
saying
could
that.
get rid of hemorrhoids.
You can have them removed by
We're like
tubulation.
moles. Like Cindy Crawford's mole.
All right, so anyway, RuPaul's Drag Race Season 5, Episode 5, Snatch Game. As always, we come into the episode. The girls are coming into the workroom after the double elimination. I felt like the girls were very rattled by the double elimination. Did anyone else get that feeling, or was it
Of
just me?
course. No, of course. I mean, it's the same thing that happened after Willem got disqualified. It's
Right.
something you don't expect. So you are reminded that anything goes and that Rue runs the show. And so I think a lot of them were like, ooh, we got to step up our games because you never know. There could be another double elimination, so they have to prepare.
She is slashing bitches, so get it together,
Right.
They got bills to pay.
right? They trying to win
Well, and it was a
$100,000.
message. It's like, don't come in here sleeping, you know?
Right, wake up.
Well, I'm also thinking, I don't know if, I think you guys mentioned it. I mean, it's kind of it opens the door for a comeback, right? For somebody else to come back.
Well, someone always comes back every season.
You know?
It's always like, I've made another mistake, and which queen should I bring back?
But see, this is what I want her to do. Is I want her to go to a past season.
Yeah, I would prefer that
for like maybe a miscongeniality or something to bring back.
too. Nina Flowers.
Do we want to see Shangela all over again?
I want to see Latrice Royale.
We want to see a box.
I want to see
just for the
Latrice
comedic
shape
effect.
some of these girls up.
Right. Bring in. I think anytime they pull a surprise, it should always be a box.
Well, they'd have to fit in the box.
Well, if they know it's a big box, then you know it's Latrice. Large and in charge, chunky yet funky. Latrice.
And I love
Royale.
Latrice. It's no shade on Latrice.
All
I would
tea,
love
all
to see her
shade.
back.
So we go into the mini challenge, which was an interesting one. Who wore it best red carpet. Can I just say that's actually my favorite part in Us Weekly, because I read Us Weekly quite often.
I don't read it, but when I go online, I like to see that.
Yeah, and I like to try to guess which one I think wore it best. I'm usually right.
And compare it to what the audience
who everyone
says.
else says. Yeah, I'm usually pretty right as far as who wore it best.
I hope so.
Well, but I mean, there are some times where I feel like they got it wrong, where the other person probably should have got it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it depends on like your taste and what you like, though.
It's
Yeah.
like an all-star award, though. I mean, the reality is it's really a popularity contest. They could be rocking the shit out of an outfit, but if you're not liked,
Yeah.
it's just how it is.
Another thing, or it's also a body type thing too. I feel a lot of those are like if maybe. A lot of times I feel like the skinnier girl is we like it better. It looks better on her. Oh, just because she's skinnier. That happens.
Oh,
a
you
lot
can
too.
dress a stick.
Right.
Right.
So speaking of who wore it best, going down the line, first of all, those things were Snuggies that they had.
That was
they
great.
called them like cuddle buddies or something
Yeah.
like that. They were wearing straight up Snuggies.
Yeah. Pandora did a review where she basically was like, that's when you can't get the rights to a name.
Right, and you call it something else.
Mm-hmm.
So in the zebra group, we had Coco, Ivy, and Detox. First off, in this challenge, I kind of felt like there were other people that I thought wore it better than the actual people that they
Yes,
picked, and
yes.
this was a little. I kind of felt like Coco wore
I
it
did.
best.
I did too.
In
I definitely
my
did.
opinion,
She
like-
looked good to me, but it
Yeah.
almost seemed a little bit caricature. Whereas I think Detox realized, okay, you can't really make this
Detox
too
looked like
pretty.
Gem.
I like that.
I mean, I grew up on Gem and the Holograms. Shows over synergy.
That's
I
exactly
look
what I
for
thought
that.
of. I was like, oh, that is Gem.
But I just kind of felt like it with Detox, it was an interesting take on the zebra. But I felt like when they put all the pictures together, I liked Coco's better.
I felt Coco
Yeah.
looked
She looked
the best.
the most put together.
Yeah. But out of that group, Detox won. So there's not much we can do about that. First random giraffe print. I don't know who would run and try to grab that, but apparently these three did: Lanesha, Roxy, and Alaska. First,
Alaska would.
What was Alaska doing with the horse mask on?
Was that a lion mask though? I thought it was a different mask than the horse mask.
I don't know. It was horse, lion. It was some sort of animal, and I didn't like. It's like I didn't get it. I didn't understand why she would do that. But then it's kind of like you shrug your shoulders and go, "Oh, it's Alaska." Like,
But I feel that's another like first off, if it is a different animal, why do you have a collection of weird masks? Second, I just don't. I feel like it's a cop out. It's like people are trying to like quickly put their makeup on or whatever, and so it's like, oh, I can be lazy and throw this thing on my face, you know?
unfortunately, I don't think it's lazy. I think it's just her.
Yeah.
I think it's just Alaska being Alaska. Unfortunately.
I think she's trying to find a niche, her own niche, like her boyfriend. And I don't know
Yeah,
what
it's
that
not
niche is
RuPaul's
yet.
drag bestiality.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I just kind of feel. I still feel like if we met Alaska first, we would be fine with Sharon. I think it's like taking a step back. Like
Yes.
like we're so used to Sharon and we appreciate what Sharon brings to the table, and then you look at Alaska and you're like, oh, you're not quite Sharon.
Aren't
But
you guys in the
I
same
see.
family?
I
What
said this at the same like again and again. Like, I feel like Sharon fits a specific type of drag.
She does.
I feel like Alaska is trying to do that, but Alaska's really just a comedian. She's not
Yeah.
a drag queen to me.
Well, I will say though, Sharon, with the evolution after winning, she's done some glam stuff which I kind of actually liked.
Oh yeah.
Sharon. Yeah,
But before
yeah,
she didn't really do any glam. She was
Yeah.
not glam at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of pushes her, right?
Yeah.
Pushed it on a little.
Yeah. In the giraffe print, I was kind of torn between Lanesha and Roxy's look. Like, I liked Lanesha's look. At first, I didn't like Roxy's look, but then looking at it again, I was like, okay. I think for me, it was her face, like the fact that she wasn't like beat. You know, it was kind of like
None of them had makeup, right?
Or
I don't
they-
think any of
most
them.
of
Yeah.
them- well, a little bit. Some of them have
a little bit. It wasn't like full face, but they splashed enough on to get themselves through. But
I love corsets. So anytime you're gonna take something shapeless like a snuggie and cinch it with a corset,
Yeah.
I'm like, and that's good for Roxy too, because like she knew that she was gonna have to do that, being not the skinniest queen
Right.
there.
right.
So I thought it looked great, and I also loved her necklace, her little like Julie necklace thing.
But Lanesha's body is back.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, she's got a great body.
but
I think she relies on it too much though. She's like, oh, I'm pretty.
Bingo! Said that the first episode. Bye, girl.
right. Which I'll let you know my epiphany during this episode. So out of the giraffe group, Roxy won. Hooray for her. I mean, I can see it. It looked pretty good. I think she did well with the giraffe print. It was okay. Then in the pink group, we had Alyssa, Jade, and Jinx. Jinx looked like homeless lady off the street,
I
begging for
loved it.
coins, drunk, like threw a shawl on and walked out and grabbed a coffee and is now on her way home.
Wait, seriously, right? That was the last thing that was left, and she's like, "Oh, I'll just do something with
Yeah.
this."
But I
Yeah.
think also for me, one of Jinx's strengths is she knows her weaknesses.
Yeah.
So she knows that she's not going to be able to make a dress look beautiful in like 2.5 seconds. So she's like, I will make the most interesting, funny character out of it. And I thought it was hilarious. And I'm like, it pays to know what you're good at.
I feel like Jade, again, she looks
like a mess.
She's tiny.
Yeah.
And she puts on all this stuff. And it makes her look so much bigger and so much, it's like.
Heavier.
Yeah, like all that drape wrap, it didn't look.
Because she
Good
doesn't
at
have
all.
a good drag mama, that's why.
And then all that laughing, I hate the nervous laugh.
Neurotic tick.
I hate that. I hate that. What is that? What is that? I don't understand.
It's the equivalent to Get Your Life.
No, it's not. When you tell someone to get your life or have a seat, that means you have had enough.
I can't drink this. I'm going to laugh.
But when someone's nervously laughing, it's awkward.
It's
is
a neurotic
awkward.
tick. It's only it's conditioned. It's conditioned from childhood, most likely.
Weird. I thought, and Alyssa won. I thought Alyssa's looked very classic, very gorgeous,
looked good.
very real good. And she gave us a little leg, which seems to be the theme this quarter.
She was giving you gaunt face too. It was interesting. I actually kind of thought she looked good.
It was good.
Overbiting.
My only thing with Alyssa is because she's a pageant queen, everything she does is like, she doesn't mix it up. Even in the prettiness, she doesn't mix it up. I feel like it's the same look every
But
time.
birds of a feather. Neither does Coco, because Coco's very, very put together. I don't see Coco doesn't mix it up. for me
I
either.
feel Coco tries to mix it up though.
fail. Epic. Continue. Sorry.
I mean, I think she tries. Like when Coco did the whole baby doll thing.
Yeah, I think
When she did
it
the
doesn't
cones
work,
with the
but
director
yeah,
and stuff.
I think she's making
that's-
an effort. It doesn't
But you
always
didn't think that was
work.
similar to like Jade and like putting too much, like doing DTM?
Okay, first of all, when Jade put the NBC logo on her, draped in like the best fabric that anyone could have probably gotten, and just didn't do anything with it, like that's not taking a risk. But Coco putting like the cones and all that kind of stuff and giving you old Hollywood, type of
I just remember
good.
with Rue in the workroom and kind of looking at her and going, "Oh, okay."
yeah. Well,
Okay.
Rue does that to everybody.
She's trying to take a risk, So
Rue is
I
always
respect
like,
that.
Okay.
The most evident was this episode, which I'm sure you'll get to. Poor Lanisha.
Oh boy. All right, so it didn't matter who really won because it's not like they turned into team captains or anything like that. But
What they got a prize though, so
yeah, they got what is it? Jury, I think. No,
Did they get a prize?
no, I don't think they. Oh no, they got a gift bag
From Us Weekly.
From Us Weekly. A swag bag from Us Weekly.
Oh.
Yes, now I remember.
that swag bag is probably 30 back issues of Us Weekly.
I'll take it. I like to read about which Real Housewives
I'll
is
take it.
cheating on their husband or why the
Getting-
Bachelor is still a virgin.
Getting a new puppy. I need some paper for the floor.
Rude. Have a seat.
My bunny can poop on it.
And then,
Okay.
yeah, so that was that. Then came the announcement that we've all been waiting for. Wait for it. Wait for it. They're going to be playing the Snatch game.
And they all lit up.
Yes, I can honestly say this. I look forward to the Snatch game, but
I think everyone does is why it's like they have it on every season because everyone loves it.
yeah, but I feel like I have been let down in many a past seasons, but we'll get to the Snatch game in a minute. I want to address in this episode, suddenly it was like Battle of the Queens. Suddenly it was Jade versus Alyssa, Alyssa versus Coco. Like, do you guys feel like at this point they are trying to create drama?
Yes.
Or there is actually drama?
Go ahead.
Because
I feel like it's contrived at this point because, I mean, you have most of this drama was happening in Untucked, and
Yes.
it was tempered throughout the episode, but I think the main story was really Jinx's story, the A story, And then the B story is all this fighting that
Right.
has continued. And I've already said this before on here that I'm just like, it's so boring and contrived to me that I can't even get into it. It just seems like people bickering for what I can't. I started to glaze over literally while watching Untucked, and I was like, I just can't anymore.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter to me. And I think that a lot of it just seems to be like, oh, we've solved this issue. No, now we haven't. Now we've done this,
Yeah.
you know?
What about the? Go ahead.
Most of the viewers agree that it's a little played out already. I actually do believe that there is drama. I think the contrived part is that producers force them to have conversations, because I can see the queens in a normal setting would just ignore each other.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna talk to you.
Okay,
you
I
ain't,
agree
you
with
ain't
that.
consequential to me. So I think they've been forced to communicate, which then pushes buttons. And because again, birds of a feather. I wouldn't trust Alyssa, nor would I trust Coco. Do I think that they both have talent and skill? Definitely. They've been doing it for decades.
Right.
Jade, from the first episode I told you, she's a shit stirrer. She deserves a ladle. I don't trust Jade either. But, you know, she's young. She has time for improvement. So hopefully we'll see something or not in the future. But
So what
it's
did
played
you
out.
think, Tony?
What did you think, Tony?
It was just, I don't know. Like the whole Alyssa versus Jade thing, like I felt like Jade was just upset that Alyssa called her out on the main stage. It's I feel like it's like Jinx says, water off a duck's back. Like Jade could have just let that alone, but you know,
Youth. But that's very much youth and
I
pride.
guess you know, he wanted to turn into something. Then it's like, you know, oh, your back fat or your rolls and like all this kind of, which first of all,
Sickening.
editing, you are amazing, because as soon as he mentioned that, we get a lovely
to.
shot of the back roll, and then a shot of her going back roll.
In silence.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, well, there's the evidence.
That whole what was most interesting to me, aside from the actual like story, I guess like mini plot that's going on, B story, I wasn't really caring about that. And then what would pique my interest would be the little zingers they would throw. I'd be like, oh, that was interesting. And it didn't even matter who said
That's
it or
good
where it
shade.
came from.
Where
Yeah.
you can
It
just
was
say a word or
good
two words,
shade.
and then it doesn't hit you for another like 2 minutes. That's good shade. Jade actually has talent for throwing shade.
Yeah.
I got to give her credit.
And that the music that they played during the whole back rolls thing, the
Yeah.
kind of like long drawn out music and the cuts to their faces, I was like, oh, that is good.
The downfall of Jade is her youthful pride, is because she responds too quickly. She allows it to get to her, whereas an old queen would just water off a duck's back.
Right.
You don't let it hit you. You just wait for the timing. You throw it out there and let it land. It's all good.
Now, going to Untucked, I love when Jade was like, those hips should match those. Match
Yeah,
those
your
shoulders.
shoulders and hips don't match.
And that was, and then the fact that they put it as a hashtag, I die.
It was so long.
I died.
I love the new Twitter campaign.
It's the
And
truth.
it's kind of like Alyssa didn't know what to say. She was just kind of like, oh, okay. Talk about an awkward kind of a moment on Untucked when it was just Jade, Alyssa, and Coco. I mean, the two people that Alyssa has been
Forced communication.
And
And he said it
fighting
himself,
with?
right? Mhm.
Did you notice too when Coco came in, she was headed to the seat that then
Alyssa
Alyssa,
was-
sat
and then-
down
and
and
then
she
she
moved.
was she told Jade to sit down.
Yeah.
And then if you notice, Jade and Coco were having a conversation without Alyssa. Alyssa put herself in the conversation. So, yeah, I wonder if producers were like, keep them safe. We're just going to put them in a room together and see what happens.
Oh yeah,
Even more
quite
than I think
sure.
they actually, you guys need to speak to each other. I think
Yeah.
they forced the issue.
Yeah.
And we know because there are cuts, they probably would pull one of the other of them aside and say, "You need to keep talking about this."
Right.
You know.
Right. So then there was, and then the whole, everyone getting down on Jinx. I didn't understand why everyone suddenly had a problem with her.
That
Like,
was the
I-
weirdest.
It was, yeah.
It was the weirdest.
Because I kind of feel like this. I feel like Jinx is one of those drag queens that I appreciate because she's not trying to fit the normal niche. You know what I mean?
She's very quirky,
She's
yeah.
quirky. She does her own thing. She has her own gimmicks. but I feel like she is still put together. Like, I feel like
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I feel like she never comes out looking a mess. It's just something that we're not used to.
Right.
And for the queens to hop on Jinx and say, you know, oh, well, if I made everything funny, you know, then I would be red. No, she's not making everything funny. She's just presenting who she is.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt bad because she was just like, I have to deal with this every single time.
When didn't
like,
she start tearing?
She
was
did.
tearing,
Yeah.
She did.
Because
She did.
it's hard when you're very different and you're putting yourself forward and you feel like you're doing a good job, and then people around you are trying to tear you down.
Yeah.
And you start, you know, second guessing yourself, and it's very hard to be different in a community that's already supposed to be praising your differences.
Yeah.
And I just thought that whole, and Jinx doesn't have beef with anybody either, which is also why I thought it was weird. I was like, this is just coming out of left field.
Left field. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be honest, she comes from a different drag community. She's from Washington, is she not? And her grandmother
from
was her
Seattle.
biggest supporter, right?
Yeah.
So the difference, though, is, you know, in LA, you're brought up by your drag family to have a tough skin. You know, they beat it into you, and I get why she was feeling the pressure, but that she has her own thing. But that's part of the whole evolution, right? You learn that you have to trust what you bring to the table. That's just part of it. Like Pandora Box.
Yeah.
Right, and her whole suicide story.
Yeah.
She had to come into her own and feel comfortable in her own skin.
I still think I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and I think even in this episode they compare Jinx to Pandora.
Yeah.
But I feel like Jinx is more open than Pandora.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
I feel like Pandora could be if she opened up more and was just into her own.
I think Pandora's there now.
Pandora's
when we
there
saw
now.
Pandora,
when we
she
saw
was
Pandora
far
on
from
her
it.
season, she was not there.
I think she's further along.
Yeah.
I think she has to trust herself and say, "This is me, like it or love it."
But
I think
it's
that
any
what
artist,
Pandora is doing now, like Pandora blogs and things like that,
Yeah.
I think what she's doing now in her career is that. But I think when we saw her on All Stars, she still wasn't there. But I think now, presently, I think she's really come into her own. And I definitely see the similarities as in like type of drag, because Pandora is very quirky as well, which is probably why I'm very attracted to that quirky kind of drag queen. And I definitely see the similarities.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she picked a quirky character too for the Snatch game. She did Carol Channing, who is like an
Yeah.
older, like quirkier personality.
But was funny and committed.
hilarious.
And you know, no one will ever say raspberries.
Raspberry.
They fall into the camp category. I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, very camp.
And here's my thing though. How you gonna come on a gay show? How you gonna be a drag queen for years and years and years and not know camp? And this was like tons of articles. If you guys go to my Twitter, there are tons of articles, not tons that I tweeted, but I tweeted a couple articles, but there are tons that have been written about why don't these queens know camp? It's like she's doing Little Edie and everybody's like, what is that? I don't understand
Who's
that.
Little Edie? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Especially Coco, who's like 40 something.
Yeah.
You were alive when Little Edie was alive.
Stop it. Get your life.
How do you not know that, you know?
Right. Speaking of not knowing, if you don't know already, you can download us on iTunes. Make sure you search for us, AfterBuzz TV. Download our podcast, listen to it. Make sure you rate us 5 stars. Yes.
Make us #1 download.
All 5 stars. And leave a comment. Let us know how we're doing, what you think we should be doing. Say hello, goodbye, Shantae, you say, sashay away, whatever it is that you feel like saying.
Just
What?
like that's how the other shows, whether it's a good positive comment or negative comment, it's free.
what you-
Go ahead,
it's-
say
it's
what you feel.
yeah.
Or if you just want to talk to us, because I talk to the people on YouTube.
We love the banter. It's
Yeah.
what makes the show even more enjoyable.
Exactly.
We're not here to regurgitate real life.
No. So search us, find us, download us, comment,
Touch
5
us.
stars us. Thank you. This announcement brought to you
Shooting
live
star.
by Tony on
By
AfterBuzz
Lounging
TV.
with Tony on all platforms.
All right, so on all platforms, exactly. All right. Now, let's get to the Snatch game.
AKA, how you not going to know you're coming to RuPaul's Drag Race and there's going to be a Snatch game.
First of all, let me say this. this is the 5th season of this show.
Right.
There are no surprises except the challenges. You know that there are certain things that are going to happen in the show that you need to be prepared for. If you don't know, you can do research. You can Netflix and sit there on a Saturday afternoon and
if you don't know, you shouldn't be auditioning
4.
for RuPaul's Drag Race because you don't really want to be America's Next Drag Superstar.
Exactly. So for some of these queens to go into this and not already know who they're doing and to be fully committed to it was ridiculous to me. Also, I felt like this, and this is where I had my epiphany. This is the fishy season. I get that.
Yeah.
A lot of these girls are resting on pretty.
Yes.
And I know we're five episodes in, but it dawned on me that like you can be the prettiest of girls, but if you don't have anything else to back it up, you might as well have a seat.
That's what just happened in the last episode.
Well, while we're on the topic, because it brought me back, and I was thinking about that too, because again, Ru has final decision on who she brings onto the show, and clearly, a lot of what brought them on was beauty,
right?
Because I mean, I can't imagine Lanesha's reel or whatever she did to audition,
right?
Which then took me back to that's one of the reasons why I felt that I felt that hormones were a little bit of a disadvantage because of the softening, and it does help you pull the girl aside. So. Like Lanesha, waste the space. Somebody else could have filled that spot with talent.
So hormones, okay, great. Soft skin, beautiful,
titties.
Whatever. But at the same time, you still have to have some sort of performer aspect, something to back up your beauty. Like you can't rest on pretty.
But we all agree. Well, I think I'm with Jackie. For me, I would rather have a girl with talent and ugly than watch a girl who's pretty and no talent.
Yes.
That's why I wasn't a fan of Lanesha from the beginning. I don't care how gorgeous you are. What are you going to bring to the table?
Right. And a lot of these girls, and it was evident in the Snatch game that they were not able to pull stuff to the table. And I was entertained only because of Jinx. Jinx as Little Edie, she was committed, I think, even before she got there. To Little Edie.
That's what you should do,
that
though.
Day.
And she made that comment. She was like, if you're not coming, and Michelle Visage made that comment too. That's the one thing you can prepare for. And plus, it's one of the more difficult challenges because you have to pick someone that you can imitate, but also someone that you can make funny.
And that was the problem. Was that everyone was so concerned on
imitation,
the look, and not bringing in the funny.
Right.
For example, Coco Montrese. Yes, she does Janet 6 days a week.
She sounds like Janet, looks like Janet.
She sounds like Janet, looks like
funny.
Janet. But what's funny about Janet, to me, and I don't know, you guys can agree or disagree. You guys out there can agree or disagree. The funny thing about Janet is that if you listen to a Janet Jackson song, or just listen to Janet, period, well, more so in the songs, you only know the chorus. Do you ever know the verses? No, because she is whispering and mumbling, and you have no idea what she is saying. Like, she's like, you have no idea what she's saying. So if Coco had done that as Janet, and when she lifted up her cards, it was a question mark, it was a star, it was just doodle, like, that would have been hilarious to me. And it would have went with her look. But the fact that she was just being Janet, and it's like, my look is sickening, I have this and that, and I'm good. No, you're not. Like, you performing Janet, I bet you are the shit 10s across the board, whatever.
Because she's lip syncing when she's performing. We know she's good at lip syncing.
It's a variety show. I'm not giving her that much credit. I'm sorry. Whatever. Just because you do Janet, they couldn't find somebody else. I don't care.
Yeah, so that was the main issue with this Snatch game, is that people doing these characters but not finding the funny.
Right.
Devil's advocate. Jinx. Is she not the one that has theatrical training?
Yes.
Because the other part about Little Edie is, again, America in this generation most likely does not know the reference. So that theatrical ability that she has is to take somebody who's completely obscure to most people and still make it funny. You don't have to know who she is. That's, for me, where I think she had the advantage.
Here's my thing, though.
Because I don't think anybody else could do that.
I would hope an audience watching RuPaul's Drag Race would have some sort of knowledge of camp.
No, girl. Pink Dolphin.
Oh.
I bet you she don't know.
Little Edie is not that obscure to me. Like, she's reference in fashion all the time. Didn't they do a movie recently?
Grey Gardens.
Jackie is
No,
a
not
hag.
Grey Gardens, but
Oh,
they
wait.
did.
Hag.
They did like a made-for-TV movie or something
Oh,
recently,
Okay.
where somebody played Little Edie. It's like this is not out of pop culture at all at this point.
But even if you didn't know who Little Edie was, you are
would
now
still laugh.
intrigued because
Yes, you would've
of
still laughed.
Jinx's portrayal.
Yeah.
I laughed the entire time, and even kudos to Jinx when Ivy Winters, who was Marilyn Monroe, and Rue made the reference of liking presidents.
And she didn't get
went-
it.
And then here comes Jinx. Oh, that was rather like scandalous, especially with my cousin. And then she had the magnify, like hilarious.
Yes.
Like save that.
Yeah.
Save that whole.
So
little
do you
bit.
not agree, hands down? I mean, of all Snatch games in the past, I have to say Jinx for me was the top. I don't remember anybody else who was that.
She-
good.
Carol Channing came
She's
close
up
for
there
me.
with Pandora as Carol Channing. She's up there with Tatiana as Brittany. Because that was hilarious.
As much as I'm not really a fan of Tatiana,
That
she
Brittany was
did
funny.
a great Brittany.
Who did Jessica Simpson?
Oh, Willem.
Willem as Jessica Simpson.
So
was
let me
funny.
take
Yes.
that back. I have to say Willem was my favorite. When you saw the whole thing and not just the snippets they showed
Yeah.
you, oh my god, Willem was off the
And
chain.
he just left
That
and put a
cardboard
cardboard
snippet.
Cardboard
statue.
just left. Yeah.
But I digress. Sorry.
Yes. Another person who did a great job in the Snatch game, I felt like, was Alaska as Lady Bunny.
Yes.
I thought-
we didn't
I thought
see
she
much
did
of
really
it, but
good.
She
No.
did a good job.
I thought her look was on point as Lady Bunny.
Yes.
And I thought the answers to her questions were very Lady Bunny-like,
Yes.
if not funnier than Lady Bunny.
Yeah.
So I think Alaska, it's so funny. It's like in the mini challenges and stuff, we look at Alaska like, girl, why are you here? And then there are times where Alaska's like, you're like, oh, okay, Alaska, I can kind of roll with you on this one.
The thing is, Alaska though has that kind of like Lady Bunny sense of humor though. She
Yeah.
has a really like messed up, like crazy sense of humor.
Yeah.
And so she did the thing where she could tap into the right character to do that. And I think that's the other thing. It's like you have to make it match your personality.
Well, and the producers are playing her right because in the workroom you see a slight vulnerable side to her because she wasn't quite sure if she could pull it off, and they were talking about
Right.
the whole Ivy Winters was with her. So I like the fact that they make her a little vulnerable.
Yeah.
I was okay with the horse thing after that. I mean, at least she committed to a character.
Yeah.
P.S. Why hasn't anyone done Liza Minnelli in the Snatch game?
I don't know.
She would be great.
Oh, yeah, she would be. She would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Or
Or Joan
Maybe
Rivers.
Alyssa probably could have
Rivers.
pulled that off.
Well, the
Short
fact
hair.
that Alyssa,
Or Don Knotts.
now that we brought up Alyssa.
Alyssa has no sense of imitation of people whatsoever.
No,
we
because-
learned that in Untucked, because when she's imitating what did I write? Oh my god, Alyssa sucks at impersonation. That's what I wrote.
yes,
and sucks has
because-
3 underlines.
Yes, well, because yeah. But also, Alyssa's one of those girls that is all about being sickening, being cute, being fierce, being makeup,
Right.
Beat.
all of that. She's all about being that. But I feel like as a drag queen, you have to be, when you are in drag, you have to be an all-around performer.
Right.
Like, first of all, I feel like many people start doing drag because they're imitating someone. Whether you are in
That
your
is
living
true.
room pretending like, as far back
You're
as
inspired,
Joey Watley
yeah.
or Tina Turner or Cher or Madonna or Beyonce, Lady Gaga, whoever you are trying to emulate, that you can be someone else. The fact that she was just like, well, the winner of this is not going to be traveling around being funny. So you're going to have a stale personality? Like, what
It's
type
not
of
a beauty
personality are you?
pageant.
Yeah, you can't stand there and think like, well, I look sickening, and everyone's gonna flock to you. They're gonna be like, okay, you look sickening, but what else can you do?
Right.
That's why I was kind of interested. I wanted to kind of do maybe look up on YouTube the Miss Gay USA. I wanted to see what their categories are because is it just beauty? Because I was kind of like, what? This girl's off.
Miss Gay America.
Yeah.
Miss
Yeah.
Gay America. The categories are
Swimsuit.
no, it's evening gown,
Talent.
Show- Showgirl.
talent, question and answer, and then there's usually like a what do they call it? Like, I think it's called presentation, where like there's a specific theme, where it's like a fictional character or the colors of the rainbow or something like that. So those are the categories of at least from what I.
It'd be interesting
recall.
to see her run. To go back and
But
be able to see it.
And that's
You
a
can-
beauty pageant, though. It's not like this is something completely different.
Yeah, but I just want to see
people-
what does she bring to the table, because
Right.
otherwise, right now I'm not even feeling the dancing. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought she was a good dancer.
I thought she was great at the dancing part.
Plus, if she would have been Kim Zolciak, she was supposed to be Kim Zolciak.
She
right?
thought about being Kim Zolciak.
She has.
There's
She's
so-
Southern. She should have done
There's
that.
so much you could have done with that.
Yes.
There's so she could have came out with a wine and the cigarettes, and then tried to sing
Pulling
and be
on
like,
and off her
Big
wig.
Papa!
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she could have done so much with that.
And that's
With-
an easy character to do.
Yes.
Kim
And-
Zolciak is such a character.
And again, she was so concentrating on the look.
Because I'm what?
Sickening. Alyssa was so concentrating on the Katy Perry look that when Rue was like, "Have you ever kissed a girl?"
Crickets.
Bro, I've never done that. Katy Perry had a song called "I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It." That was her first song. How do you not know that? So much she could have done
She
with
probably
that.
did
Right.
choreography to it. I don't know.
Maybe, but at least she looked kind of like Katy Perry with the blue hair and stuff and line pop.
She did, but that was it.
That was about it. Yep. So Jade is Taylor Swift. You know what? If there was anyone in the world that I thought Jade would pick, it would be Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it was appropriate for what?
Yeah.
She
All
should have
had
been
to do
Bjork.
was,
What?
She should have
start-
done Bjork.
and then all of a
That'd have
sudden,
been hilarious.
and then all of a sudden out of nowhere just started beating somebody over there.
yeah, or like pull out a dress and look like
Coming
the
in a
ocean.
swan dress.
Covered everybody in her dress.
Right. That's hilarious.
And then again, that would be another non-understandable.
Girl, call me. I'll give you
like-
ideas.
They should have called a whole bunch of people because a lot of people did not know what
If
they were
I was
doing.
in the Snatch game, I'd want to be Joan Rivers. I love Joan Rivers, and she's another person.
We should have played our own version of Snatch
Yes.
Game tonight.
Who would you be in the Snatch game?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or do I have to be a boy because I'm a girl?
You can
Whatever you feel, girl.
You can
I would be
anyone.
Russell Brand if I was a boy,
Oh, God.
Okay.
but I'd be Joan Rivers if I was a girl.
Okay. Cam, who would you be?
Tony Moore.
Shut up. Get your life.
I would be turned up.
Get your life. I actually think I would have went with Roxy and been Tamar Braxton.
No, Tamar is amazing. I'm sorry. She makes for great television.
Yeah.
I wish that, are we going to talk about it? I wish that Roxy
Yeah.
kind of was a little bit more committed to her, because she could have turned that out.
I think from what we saw, she was very committed. Like with the twisting of the hair and the coming up and doing like the little pop and stuff.
I give her credit because she was trying to get that octave up there a little bit, but it was funny.
She
I like the
actually
hair.
Looked like Tamar just a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what Tamar think. Tamar Braxton, if you are watching this, first of all, get your
Well,
life
she tried it.
and you trying it, and let us know what you thought about Roxy portraying
I'm saying I love
Tamar
Roxy.
Braxton, or if anyone out there has seen a tweet by Tamar regarding that, let us know.
Money can't buy
Another
love.
clueless person was Lanesha. First of all,
Surprise, surprise.
First off, how do you land on deciding to be Michelle Obama for the Snatch game?
I'm trying not to be negative.
When she said,
And Michelle Obama is not like, she's not one of those people, like, there have been first ladies that have kind of like a goofy or quirky
yeah, a
personality.
little quirky side.
Michelle Obama is not one of them. She's very like even-tempered and diplomatic. So
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not really sure what you would do with that unless you're gonna like make a big deal of trying to like help
I
people.
would have
not
done like
be
an obesity
fat.
campaign.
What did
Yeah. 1 in
President
5.
What did President Obama have for breakfast today?
French fries.
French fries.
And she thought that was funny.
I'm
But-
just saying, everybody thought she was so gorgeous.
We had a viewer though. I should say this because like 90% of Lanesha's problem is a language barrier, and there have been stories on Drag Race through several seasons that have to do with language barrier. And there was somebody, and I forget who it was, and I'm sorry, who was commenting on YouTube that said they should have like an all Latino version, like a Spanish speaking version of Drag Race.
Don't get it twisted. Rue's probably working on it now.
Yeah, because that
Banking on
way
it.
that way those queens have their fair chance, and they're not continually misunderstood or made fun of for not knowing a culture that they didn't necessarily grow up in or aren't
I would
familiar
not
with.
be surprised because the
This-
Latin community is bank. And if Rue's not already thinking about it, she will be after this.
Listen,
After listening to our show or
this
that
again
yeah.
is RuPaul's Drag Race season 5. We have had Alexis Mateo, we have had Yara Sophia, come on
Nina
this
Flowers.
Madam LaQueer, Kenya Michaels, all these people have come on this show and they have managed to pull through and get farther.
Kenya had a really hard time, and even though she was the one who came back, right?
No, don't put it in your face, Kenya. I kind of like the smell.
And oh God.
Anyway, I feel like that is not an excuse. Like you need to get your life.
But here's what I'm saying though: it's not fair for these queens. It's like.
Oh no. Go ahead. I'll disagree after.
Oh, I just don't feel. I feel like if they had their own Spanish-speaking version, they would really be allowed to shine. Because
speak Spanish correctly, Lanisha.
Agreed.
Frescas.
And who knows? Maybe the producers they knew she was gonna fail, and it was just gonna add. It's gonna bring attention.
Again, resting on pretty.
Should be a RuPaul's Spanish Drag Race.
That should be a hashtag.
I'm telling you,
rest on pretty.
Because I don't feel like. I feel like, yes, she did a terrible job, but a lot of that is because she's having such a hard time with the language, and we know this to the point that when she does leave, she just speaks Spanish. She could have
been doing that all along. Logo has enough money for subtitles.
Telling you, she'd be back if she went to never mind, South America. Hit it, tits.
Maybe she's doing a tour now. So that was the Snatch game. Overall, it was okay. It was like a big build up to almost kind of be let down. There were a few people that saved it, but I felt like at this point, everybody should be on
committed.
Point.
Ooh,
yes.
tacky. Sorry. Are we gonna? The whole Kesha pissing on the floor thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Detox.
Girl.
This was a wonky moment because I'm such a Detox
because I'm not a huge fan of hers, but I do expect some talent. That I was like, where did that come from? What was that? I mean, I guess Kesha pissed, yeah, but how is that comedic?
It wasn't. It was kind of like it was one of those moments where I was just like, had she not gone in front, like in front of, like if she had did it to the side,
yeah, hiding in the corner with her head out,
yeah. And be like, okay, keep going, like that would have been fine. But the fact that she came in front,
it was too cross for me.
And yeah, it was a bit much.
And then some poor crew person has to come and clean that shit up.
And even Rue was like, I guess
I would love to have seen Roxy's face, like, no, girl,
like don't do it, don't do it,
girl.
But again, she was imitating her friend. But I feel like this, and that takes me back to Raja, because we all know Raja was the makeup artist for America's Next Top Model, knows Tyra, whatever.
Raja's been around, girl.
I feel like Raja did a great job bringing the funny out of Tyra, but keeping it to a point where she didn't feel like she was offending a friend.
Yes.
It's kind of like one of those things if her and Tyra were sitting around and be like, oh, girl, you know you crazy. You know you act like this. You know, and Tyra was like, hi, you know I do. And she just brought that out. You know what I mean? I felt like Detox, if she knows Kesha and is friends with Kesha, could have brought out the funny in her more. You know what I mean? Not even look so put together. We all feel like Kesha is dirty and hasn't taken a bath in about 5 years.
Cut to Raja on timeout for 3 seasons. Sorry.
What? So
Tyra's mean.
Tyra is mean.
Raja ain't working. I'm just kidding.
You're so stupid. So I wasn't a big fan of that.
I just wanted to say that because I don't want Detox to win. I think that she has the foundation to be a great queen, but I was like, ooh.
Yeah. That was a sad low moment for an otherwise
for
great
Kesha.
Queen.
Right.
And for Kesha.
All right.
So before we hit the runway looks, I had a note here about as they were getting ready for the runway looks, Alyssa and Coco at it again. And now Alyssa is joking about the whole Miss Gay America situation.
Yeah. I feel like
uncalled for. If she had said that to me, I would have knocked her out.
I feel like that was another producer prompt.
Because the splicing was bad too. It just I'm sure there was a lot more.
And Coco went from 0 to 600 and like, I'm not joking, bitch. And that look, I was like, first of all, in the whole I'm not joking, bitch, who was she talking to? And then she finally looked up and I was like, oh, she's talking to Alyssa.
On top of that, don't try and come for somebody when you're orange face, because I would have laughed at you too, girl.
But I felt like this. I felt like there was no reason. Like apparently, us as the audience, they're still in a tiff with each other. You know what I mean? Like, so they still don't like each other. So then to all of a sudden have this, oh, now we're gonna joke about it moment, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, this is why I feel like a lot of this are producers.
Prodded.
encouraging them to say things where I'm like, this is just weird because they were okay, like, ish in the last episode, and now they're like,
well, like in Untucked,
freaking out
Alyssa
again.
said is that if I never talk to either one of you again, I'll be just fine. And I actually believe her. I believe that they're being prodded to have conversation.
Yeah. All right. So then on the runway, they had their fishiest look, the deadliest Snatch looks. They ragged on Detox for Detox was going for like a jellyfish.
It was a jellyfish caftan.
Yeah. I actually liked it, and it made me realize that like everything doesn't have to be fitted in a gown and a dress and all that kind of stuff. Like I like the colors and I like the poofiness of it.
Well, think about it. We're also
Detox.
we're a little burnt out and a little tired of resting on pretty already. This episode definitely pushed that, like, okay, we're tired of pretty. Yeah. So she did something that was a little different, and I appreciated it.
Yeah.
But it reminded me, because like remember the whole caftan thing we talked about, the just draping? That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
She could have added a little something to it to make it look more jellyfish-like,
or take it totally over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the sentiment.
Yeah. I thought it was just enough with how she did it and how she styled it and everything. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I didn't think it was horrible.
No. They ragged on Jinx's look.
I have to agree. Sorry.
I did not. That's not one of my favorites, but I think that Jinx can do glamour. It's just going to be like period or different glamour. Like when she did Marie Antoinette, I thought that was glamorous.
I didn't like her accessories. If she had, like, the top wasn't horrible, but she had like some Indian piece.
I think the dress as a whole, to me, I wasn't bothered by it. I wasn't bothered by her look. Like it looked like Valley Rich Girl.
Okay, wait. Tell me the contouring of her nose though. Somebody needs to help her with contour. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Her nose looks hugely wide. Bad girl. Get some help.
And then the fact that Michelle was just like, I want to see you do glam. Well, drag doesn't always have to be
glam.
We want to see you do glam. This is you present you. Like, don't try to put me in your lane. Like, that's not my lane. That's not what I do.
Which she responded, bless her heart for speaking up.
She said this
I
was
think we
glam
have
for
a
me,
completely
right?
different aesthetic.
Yes.
Props to her, but also jumping back right before they started getting before they got their critiques, you know, she's whispering like water off a duck's back. Yeah, like she's prepping herself because she knows she's gonna get ripped.
Yeah.
So what then tells me, okay, if you knew you were gonna get ripped, you walked out there with that outfit knowing that you were gonna get ripped.
Yeah.
So what is your end game?
Well, I think by this point, Jinx is just like, whatever I do, everyone's just kind of like, because they don't get me. You know what I mean?
Which like Pandora was the same. Yeah. Like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. Coco just looked like a Nicki Minaj lookalike.
I wrote Coco no.
It was just a Nicki Minaj look.
She looked like a hooker.
It was so bad. It was so like
Players
brightly, bizarrely offensive. There were too many pink things going on.
Yeah.
So not so put together, contrary to the beginning of this episode. Just saying, not so put together.
I liked Roxy's look.
So did I.
I always like Roxy's
And why? Because her crotch wasn't down to half her thigh. Ugh. Somebody who finally knows how to make a crotch. And I don't care if she's chunky. Her ass looked good in that.
I always like Roxy's look.
Yeah.
But I did agree with your husband. I'm not a fan of Santino, but I did agree that I kind of wished her hair was a little bit more sleek or maybe a little bit more coiffed a little bit. So I liked it though.
Yeah, I liked it.
But I thought she should have won as over Jinx, just because Jinx did good on Snatch Game. I think that the overall score should have went to Roxy.
No, I think Jinx Little Edie alone got her that
Yeah,
win.
I think the only reason I think that though is because nobody else really tried.
Right.
And that's what was frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, hands down. Any other standouts on the, because I feel like the runway, it used to be a huge part of the show and now it's just like a blurb.
Yeah. It was really
like
quick.
don't blink, you'll miss it.
Yeah.
It was really quick.
The Lanesha's look was, I mean, I liked
Hooker.
it. It was very very bad girl.
Prince.
Yeah,
definitely.
Very
Vanity.
I'm a sex shooter, shooting love in your direction.
Or Apollonia Kataro.
Yes. Yeah. Alaska. I just put question mark.
That hair sucked.
If we're gonna make a Party City comment, like that's where you make it. That was, everything looked like it was purchased at the dime store.
At the dime
Everything.
store? Not even 99 cents.
Dime.
$10
I was okay with the whole quirkiness or the dumbness of it, but the hair, I just was bothered. That Amy Winehouse used hair. Yeah.
I'm like, it was a good concept, but it's like don't look like that cheap.
Right.
You know, there's a way to do like a character dress.
Gosh, Fifi, you're so mean.
Oh boy. So yeah, Ivy looked great in her color.
Yeah, but Ivy, like, here's my thing now. As much as I like Ivy, now that she's not doing anything but bringing out beautiful clothes.
Next week, bottom 2.
Oh.
Like, she's gonna be in trouble because she is now resting on Pretty.
I've called it so far.
And the only person we haven't talked about is Jade. There was something about Jade's makeup that I didn't like. It just didn't seem right. Something.
I usually like her outfits. I just
me too.
This week was
this
too
one
much.
I wasn't quite sure, so I was just like.
Wasn't hating her, but I do agree the makeup was a little off. But
Yeah.
I did like her presence on the stage. But like I said, there's something about her. She's young. I think people feel that she hasn't put in the work. She hasn't, what do you call it? She hasn't paid her dues.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Right.
Bottom
And of
2.
course, I absolutely love RuPaul's look. I always look forward to that part.
Okay, so now Cam wants to know what we think of the hair.
Yeah.
I love Christina Aguilera hair. Christina Aguilera circa dirty. Love that kind of hair.
Oh.
I had that kind of hair, so I'm okay with it.
I didn't like the hair
I
at
know,
all, but I did like her dress, which was a little weird. But all I kept thinking was that would be an amazing dress in black light, and her doing some kind of dance number. That'd
Yeah.
be sickening, minus that hair.
I always love Rue's looks.
You would.
Wow.
Brown noser.
I'm not a brown noser.
What
at
did you
all.
like about the hair? I didn't like the black streaks in it.
I couldn't find anything wrong with Rue's look at
I
all.
did like the way Michelle Visage looked.
She gave you very 50s,
She pulled it
like,
back.
I love
very 50s,
that.
Hair was
like, I'm
slick,
going to
and
the
that
malt
Angora, that
shopping.
beautiful
Yes,
color
it's very
Angora. That's
cute.
Angora,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, oh,
And
shit.
really
finally, her
cute.
boobs were kind of covered up a little bit.
Oh, boo.
We don't need boobalicious all the time. Like, save some for later. So then, in the end, Jinx won. And we had Detox and Lanesha in the bottom, lip singing for their life. And in the end, Miss Lanesha Sparks sashayed away.
I'm over.
Detox's lip sync though was cracking me up. Like, I was laughing so hard, and it was because even though she was doing her like weird
Yeah.
lip thing, she still kind of resembled Cher in that lip sync,
So do
which was so bizarre to me because I was like, this is I really do feel like this is kind of Cher-esque.
So I pose this question to you guys. Do you think that during these lip syncs that a person's look, as far as like how close they look to the person that the artist that they're lip syncing to, plays a part in the lip sync?
For me, no.
No.
Okay. Because I had that discussion with a friend of mine.
What do you think?
I just think it depends. Like, because it depends, like, if you're going to make a choice, stick with it. Like, if you're going to do your own personal interpretation, make it a great one.
Right.
And there have been people that have done that. They do their own, like, version.
own
They don't
shtick?
resemble or imitate the person who's singing the song, and they do a great job.
Yeah.
But alternatively, if you're going to do what Detox did, which I think was, like, bring in some Cher to it, she did a great job with that.
Yeah. For me personally, I know within the first 5 seconds who's going to win. And it's the person who is into the song most, who can bring, who is embodying the lyrics and the song that they're lip syncing to.
Well, it's about presence. It's when you go to a drag show, you already know who you're going to watch or who you're going to go get a drink while they're performing.
Right.
Right.
And I did feel like Detox's mouth movement kind of took me out of her performance.
Thank you.
But there were some parts that brought me back in, and I felt like Lanesha was just resting on Pretty. I think Lanesha is gorgeous, but I think she was, during that whole performance, she was in it, but she was resting on Pretty.
Detox has presence. And I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think, well, we've seen a lot of queens in our lives, whether it's here or wherever we come from. And sometimes that mouthing can be overplayed. I know many queens that do that. Maybe not the rickety jaw thing that she was doing, but that over accentuating the lips, and it's clowning, but sometimes they do it just to pull your attention back, and then they go back into normal lip syncing. So I didn't hate it, but it did kind of put me out. So I was like, But then Lanesha, boo.
Yeah, exactly.
Boo.
So with that, let's go into news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Stretch.
So we don't really have any gossip yet on Drag Race, but this portion we're gonna let Jackie announce something for a friend of hers.
If you like this is RuPaul's Drag Race. If you like other types of races where you're actually racing, my friend works for Ugly Dog Events. It's launching 6 themed races nationwide. In 2013, you can go to www.uglydogevents.com or www.takeonyourcity.com. It supports charity. The races have all kinds of cash prizes. And she's offering a code, AfterBuzz13, for people who watch Drag Race for 25% off of the registration.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't say we don't give you guys stuff.
Right. There you go.
They look really fun, too.
Got it.
And they go to all kinds of, like, there are all sorts of different types of charities. Yes, people,
we want you guys to watch TV, but get off the couch.
Get out, do something. Do something. And now, predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So, Cam, you already shared your prediction with us. Tell it to us again.
My bottom 2 will be Ivy Winters, and I want to say Coco, but I think the producers are gonna prod more. They're still gonna ride this out, which is irritating. I'm gonna go with Ivy Winters and Jade.
I agree with that. I feel like those are gonna be the bottom 2 next week, or one or the 2 of them will be going home in the next 2 episodes.
It's so funny because I think we all agree on that. I was thinking like Ivy and Jade, if they don't pull up, they're going to be in the bottom 2.
Yeah, if they don't, because there are so many other personalities here.
Yeah.
And I think Detox and Roxy, one of our viewers says that they think Jinx is going to be Miss Congeniality, and I agree with that.
Yes, sorry, I was thinking Jade.
And I agree with that, but I think that Roxy and Detox are definitely going to be in top 3.
Yeah. Well, all right. That has been your after show on AfterBuzz TV for RuPaul's Drag Race Season 5, Episode 5, Snatch Game. We hope that you guys will tune in next Wednesday, 7 p.m.-ish Pacific Standard Time for another AfterBuzz TV show. You guys, before we sign off, let us know where we can find you.
At 123Jackie_B. I also tweeted the Ugly Dog Events link. AfterBuzz13 is the code.
At Tomakova777.
And you can find me at Lounging with Tony on all platforms. Special thanks to Marissa, who's been in the booth here holding it down. I didn't say hi to her earlier.
Right, don't you guys want her to participate more in the show?
I listen. I participate.
And Marissa is like, that is enough for me. We will see you guys next time on another RuPaul's Drag Race after show on AfterBuzz TV.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.